I have a habit, no matter who I'm talking to. I always say, "That's great." When my real wealthy parents finally came for me, they carefully asked if I'd mind letting the fake error stay. I said, "That's great. Raising someone else's child for them. How selfless." At the mansion, Felicity, the fake daughter, sidled up and sweetly offered me her room. I toured the bright, spacious space. "Fantastic," I said, patting her shoulder. "And you're so thoughtful. Knowing your big sister suffered 16 years. And offering her the best room." Felicity went pale, being her upset. My new brother, Ryan, shoved me. "Don't bully her." I rubbed my shoulder. "Awesome. You're so strong. You must eat well." I lowered my voice. Unlike me, I never knew where my next meal was coming from. I glared, calling me a manipulative witch. I kept on, "Wow. That's great. So you know all about that, huh? Tell me, does your dear Felicity fit the description?" Felicity burst into tears and ran to our mother, sobbing that I was targeting her. I just frowned. What were they talking about? I was only praising them. Mom gave me a troubled look. "Audrey, how could you say that to your sister?" I feigned confusion, scratching my head. "But Mom, you said you wanted us all to get along." "I've been doing my best. I haven't stopped complimenting everyone since I walked in the door." "But Ryan," I added. Glancing at him, he came right at me, showing off his muscles. He bruised my shoulder. I slipped off my jacket. Underneath, the fresh mark from Ryan's shove was visible. But so was a constellation of older, faded scars from years of abuse. At the sight of the old scars, my mother gasped. Ryan just stared, completely at a loss. I had no idea your life was so hard." His eyes were wide and guileless, reminding me of a kitten I had once. I couldn't help myself. I stood on my toes, patted his head and said, "That's great. So now you know, right?" He just stared, then nodded dumbly. A moment later, he was eagerly hauling my luggage into Felicity's room. Felicity stomped her foot, grabbing his arm. "Ryan, are you taking her side against me?" He scratched his head, looking flustered. "Felicity, she's not an outsider. She's Mom and Dad's real daughter. Besides," added, "didn't you just offer her the room?" Felicity clearly hadn't expected this. She ran to Mom, her eyes welling with tears. "Mom, I want to be nice to my sister. I really do. But this room. I have so many memories here." Before Mom could say a word, I cut in. "Mom, if my sister doesn't genuinely want me to have her room, that's fine. I can stay somewhere else. As long as we're all together as a family. It doesn't matter where I sleep." A wave of emotion washed over my mother's face. She stroked my hair, calling me a good, sweet girl, then ordered Ryan to move my things back to the small guest room. As he dutifully wrestled with my suitcase, clapped him on the shoulder. "You're doing great, Ryan." The praise seemed to energize him. He practically carried my luggage back to my new room. I glanced over my shoulder. Felicity stood frozen in place, guarding her prize. He looked like she'd won, but also somehow like she hadn't. But guilt is a fleeting emotion. while 16 years of affection is a bond not easily broken. All Felicity had to do was squeeze out a single tear, and Mom and Ryan would flock to her side. I heard Mom's gentle voice from inside the room. "Felicity, darling. How could you think I'd ever neglect you? Just because Audrey is here?" Felicity whined. "I don't care. You're already taking her side, sweetheart," Mom said, voice strained. "Audrey is my biological child after all." Felicity shot back, "Fine. If that's how it is, maybe I should just go back to them." Mom's voice rose in alarm. "Absolutely not. Those people are dirt poor. Your sister was tormented for 16 years. How could I ever let you suffer like that?" I smiled a cold, bitter smile. I leaned against the door frame, listening until the very end. When Ryan opened the door and saw me, he looked mortified. "Audrey, what are you doing here?" I put on a bright smile. "Brian, Felicity is amazing. She cries so loudly. You can tell she's full of life. Unlike me. The louder I cried, the harder my foster parents hit me." Before I could say the last part, a sharp sting exploded across my cheek. Felicity had slapped me. Her hand was trembling as she pointed at me. "Audrey Prescott, what is your problem? Stop being so passive-aggressive." Mom gasped when she saw Felicity hit me. For a foolish second, I thought she might actually discipline her. She didn't. She just took Felicity's hand, cooing like she was calming a toddler. "Are there, Felicity? You're not pretty when you're angry. Come on, let's go have dinner." She shot me an apologetic glance before leading Felicity downstairs. I stood there, my hand pressed to my swelling cheek. Brian sighed, "Audrey." Mom just managed to calm her down. "If we say anything else to her, she might do something drastic." He brought the first aid kit and began dabbing ointment on my face. "You've spoiled her rotten," he muttered. "She's been throwing fits ever since she heard you were coming. Just try to avoid her for a while, okay? For everyone's sake." I looked down and a tear I couldn't stop splashed onto his hand. "Why should I? This is my home. I already gave it up to her for 16 years. Isn't that enough?" Ryan swallowed hard. "Audrey, it's not Felicity's fault. And she's been diagnosed with depression before. If we sent her back to that family, she wouldn't survive it. Not her fault." I laughed inwardly, a cold, sharp sound. But I quickly smoothed my expression into a smile. "You're doing great, Ryan. My face doesn't even hurt anymore." At the Prescott house, Felicity had many privileges. One of them was choosing the menu. Coincidentally, ever since my arrival, every single dish she ordered was something I was allergic to. She knew I was deathly allergic to shellfish. So on my very first night, she requested a massive seafood feast. She even thoughtfully tried to shove a large shrimp into my mouth. I dodged, but it grazed my lips. My mouth immediately swelled up and the world tilted sideways. Before I collapsed, Felicity looked down at me with feigned concern. "Oh, sister. I know it's your first time eating real seafood. But you don't have to be that dramatic." Only then did it seem to dawn on my mother. "Oh, dear. I completely forgot. Audrey can't eat shellfish." I ended up in the hospital. Even after that, The dining table was laid in with seafood for the next 2 days. Gave her a thumbs up. That's great. I can't eat any of these. Did you get that? For next time. Felicity was dumber than my cat. I told her I couldn't eat it. And she still had the chef make it day after day. I knew she was doing it on purpose. But my father just glanced at me and said, Felicity just wants to eat seafood. Audrey, it's not about you. I nodded eagerly. You're right. You're right. Not about me at all. I turned to him. Dad. You're in great shape eating so much seafood for so many days straight. And you're not even worried about your uric acid levels spiking. You're not afraid of getting gout. The piece of fish on his chopsticks fell onto the table. With a soft plop. He cleared his throat. Felicity, dear. Let's have the chef make some other things. Some vegetables, some meat. Lay off the seafood for a bit. Felicity threw down her chopsticks. I want to eat seafood. That's all I want to eat. Immediately, everyone rushed to console her. I, meanwhile, stirred a few cents worth of fermented bean curd into my plain rice. And ate with gusto. My father, rubbing his temples, turned and saw me happily shoveling rice into my mouth. He couldn't help but ask, Audrey, there's nothing on the table you can eat. How can you look so happy? Oh, so he knew. He knew there was nothing for me. He just couldn't be bothered to intervene in his children's squabbles. I put down my clean bowl. Of course. The food I used to eat was spoiled. Just getting to eat fresh white rice is a luxury for me. Mom, Dad, Ryan. Felicity, I'm full. You guys enjoy. I ignored the guilty looks they shot my way. Washed my bowl and went upstairs. I heard later that my father revoked Felicity's menu privileges. He told the chef to start making some of my favorite dishes. When Ryan told me he expected me to be touched, maybe even cry with gratitude, I was mostly just confused. Wasn't making food. I could eat the bare minimum. But I played my part, putting on a naive smile. That's great. Does this mean I can finally have big chicken, drumsticks and that delicious braised pork belly? Ryan's eyes grew misty. He patted my head. Is that all you want, chicken and pork? Anything else, just tell me and I'll let the chef know. No need, I said lightly. You should make some seafood, too. It's Felicity's favorite. The next day, a huge platter of seafood sat in front of Felicity. In front of me sat a plate of braised pork and a crispy chicken leg. I beamed. This is perfect. Now my sister and I both get to eat what we like. High society life means endless parties and galas. When I came downstairs in my custom-made gown, Felicity clapped a hand over her mouth. Oh, sister. That dress looks ridiculous on you. I nodded in agreement. It's amazing, right? Custom made for my measurements and it's still this baggy. Mom, looking irritated, summoned the tailor and demanded an explanation. The terrified woman confessed immediately it was Miss Felicity. She told me Miss Audrey would surely gain weight, and that I should make it a few sizes larger. Mom turned to Felicity. Felicity just pouted. I was just trying to be thoughtful. How was I supposed to know she wouldn't gain any weight? It's like we're starving her or something. I nodded silently. That's great. You hit the nail right on the head. Felicity only wanted to embarrass me. She hadn't considered that as a Prescott, my appearance reflected on the family. But Mom couldn't bring herself to scold her darling. So she just hustled the poor tailor to alter the dress on the spot. Forget it. It's fine, I said, grabbing a wrap from the hall closet and draping it over my shoulders. This way you can't even tell. Mom and Dad were busy networking, and Ryan was quickly absorbed by his friends. Before he left, he entrusted me to Felicity. Audrey, Felicity has lots of friends here. You should go meet them. That's great, Ryan. You're so considerate. I smiled, my eyes crinkling at the corners. He completely missed the sarcasm, right? I'm a good brother. Felicity took my hand and dragged me over to her. Click. Then they all started speaking rapid-fire English. They'd talk for a bit, then stop abruptly and stare at me waiting for a reaction. I just maintained a polite, placid smile. After a few seconds of silence, Felicity let out a giggle. Audrey, they're asking for your name. Don't tell me you can't even understand that. One of her friends wrinkled her nose. Where did this country bumpkin come from? He can't even speak English. I just smiled and nodded. That's great. Your English really is excellent. My foster parents, Felicity's biological parents, abused me, so I had to drop out of school years ago. Her friends froze. Wait. What? Is that true? One of them finally asked Felicity. Isn't Mr. Prescott your father? To protect Felicity's feelings, my parents had never publicly announced the switch. They were even considering letting me stay on as the adopted daughter, while Felicity remained the true heiress. Before Felicity could answer, I did. No. Felicity is the fake heiress. I'm the real one. They switched me with. Felicity's face turned ugly. Felicity's face turned ugly, a twisted mask of panic and rage. The murmurs began instantly, rippling through the small circle of debutantes and socialites. Fake, one girl whispered, her eyes darting between us. But Felicity said. Another trailed off, looking at Felicity with new suspicion. Felicity tried to laugh it off, but the sound was brittle. Audrey is just joking. She has such a weird sense of humor. Don't listen to her. I clapped my hands together, beaming. That's great. You're so quick on your feet, Felicity. Always ready with a cover story. It must be exhausting keeping track of all the lies. I admire your stamina. The air around us grew heavy. The music seemed to fade into the background. Wait, a boy with dark hair and perceptive eyes stepped forward. I recognized him as Liam, the son of a banking magnate. You said her biological parents abused you? So you grew up with Felicity's real family? I nodded enthusiastically. Yes. They were passionate people. Very hands-on with their discipline. But hey, it built character, right? Look at me now, wearing a dress 3 sizes too big and smiling like I won the lottery. Resilience. Liam looked horrified. He turned to Felicity. Is that true? Your parents beat her? Felicity was trembling. I don't know. I didn't grow up there. How would I know? Exactly. I chirped. You grew up here. In luxury. While I took your beatings. It's a fair trade, right? One life for another. I mean, look at this party. It's totally worth a few broken bones. The circle of friends backed away from Felicity as if she were contagious. The unspoken rule of high society was simple: cruelty was acceptable, but being trashy was not. And Felicity's biological family sounded distinctly trashy. Ryan appeared at my elbow, looking confused. What's going on? Why is everyone staring? Oh, Ryan. I grabbed his arm. Your sister was just introducing me to her friends. We were sharing childhood stories. It's so nice to bond. Ryan looked at Felicity, who was pale and shaking. He looked at the judgmental faces of the elite. And for the first time, something seemed to click behind his eyes. Felicity, he said slowly. Did you tell them Audrey was the maid? Felicity gasped. I never. She told us she was a distant cousin who didn't speak English, Liam corrected dryly. Ryan's face hardened. He looked at me, at my ill-fitting dress, at the scars I had carefully exposed earlier. Then he looked at the girl he had protected for 16 years. That's enough, Ryan said. His voice was low, but it carried. Let's go, Audrey. He led me away, leaving Felicity standing alone in the middle of the ballroom. You handled that well, Ryan muttered as we walked away. Thanks, I said brightly. I've had a lot of practice handling disappointment. Ryan flinched. Chapter 4, The Diary. The fallout from the gala was subtle but devastating. Felicity wasn't shunned outright, the Prescotts were too powerful for that, but the invitations started drying up. The whispers followed her everywhere. Meanwhile, I continued my campaign of aggressive positivity. I complimented Mom on her bravery for keeping a liar in the house. I complimented Dad on his generosity for funding a fraud. I complimented Ryan on his loyalty to a girl who manipulated him. It was driving them insane. One afternoon, I accidentally left my old journal on the coffee table in the living room. It was a battered notebook I had brought from my foster home. I knew Mom was home. I knew she was nosy. I went to the garden to read, waiting. An hour later, I heard sobbing from the living room. I walked in. Mom was sitting on the sofa, clutching the notebook to her chest. Her face was streaked with tears. Ryan stood by the window, looking out with a haunted expression. Mom? I asked, my voice filled with fake concern. What's wrong? Did the chef cook seafood again? Mom looked up at me. Her eyes were red. Audrey, this book. Oh, that. I walked over and gently took it from her. Just my silly scribbles. You know, from the dark times. I used to write down the nice things so I wouldn't forget them. She opened it to a marked page. I knew which one. It was an entry from when I was 10. Today was a good day. Daddy only hit me with the belt twice. He said I was getting tougher. Mommy let me eat the crusts from Felicity's old birthday cake that they threw in the trash. It was stale, but it tasted like sugar. I pretended I was a princess eating a feast. I wonder if the real princess is happy. I hope she is. I hope she never has to eat crusts. Mom let out a wail of anguish. She grabbed my hand, pulling me down to sit beside her. My baby, she sobbed. My poor baby. We failed you. We failed you so badly. No, no. I patted her back. It's fine. Look at me now. I have a whole chicken leg to myself. I'm living the dream. My cheerful dismissal of the trauma only made her cry harder. It was a mirror reflecting her own negligence, and the reflection was ugly. Ryan turned around. His eyes were wet. We let her stay, he whispered. We let Felicity stay in your room. We let her order food that could kill you. We let her mock you. But she's your sister too, I said, widening my eyes. It's okay. I understand. She's been here longer. She's prettier. She's smarter. It makes sense to love her more. No, Ryan shouted. It doesn't make sense. It's wrong. He stormed out of the room. I heard him running up the stairs, straight to Felicity's room. Chapter 5, The Confrontation. I followed at a distance. Ryan kicked Felicity's door open. She was lounging on her bed, scrolling through her phone. Ryan? She asked, startled. Get out, he said. What? Get out of this room. Get out of this house. I'm done. Ryan, you're scaring me. Felicity sat up, playing the victim card immediately. What did she tell you? Whatever lies she spun, they're not true. She didn't tell me anything. Ryan yelled. I read her diary. I read about the abuse your parents put her through while you were living here like a queen. And you knew. You knew who they were. I didn't. You did. You told your friends at the gala that her parents abused her. You knew the truth and you still tried to humiliate her. You're a monster, Felicity. Felicity's face crumpled. She started to cry, but this time, it didn't work. Save the tears, Ryan spat. They don't work on me anymore. Dad appeared in the doorway. He looked from Ryan to Felicity, then to me standing quietly in the hall. What is going on? Dad asked, his voice weary. I want her gone, Ryan said, pointing at Felicity. Or I go. Dad sighed. He looked at Felicity. For the first time, I saw no affection in his eyes. Only calculation. Felicity, Dad said. We've been very patient. But your behavior toward Audrey has been unacceptable. Dad! Felicity shrieked. You can't kick me out. I'm your daughter. No, Dad said coldly. You're not. You were a mistake we tried to correct with kindness. But you have repaid that kindness with cruelty. He turned to me. Audrey, come here. I walked over. Dad put an arm around me. It felt stiff, awkward, but firm. This is my daughter, he announced. My only daughter. Chapter 6, The Exit. Felicity left the next day. She didn't go quietly. She screamed, she broke a vase, she stole some jewelry, which we found in her bag before she left. Mom cried, but she didn't stop her. The guilt of the diary had finally outweighed her attachment to the fake daughter. When the car drove Felicity away, I stood on the porch with Ryan. She's gone, he said. That's great, I said. And for the first time, I actually meant it. Ryan looked at me. You don't have to do that anymore. Do what? Say, that's great. You don't have to be happy all the time. You can be angry. You can be sad. You can hate us. I looked at him. I thought about the years of hunger. The years of pain. The years of watching them love someone else while I rotted. I don't hate you, I said softly. Hate takes too much energy. I just want to be safe. Ryan hugged me. It was a real hug this time. Tight. Protective. You're safe, he promised. I swear. Epilogue. Felicity tried to come back a few times. She showed up at the gate, crying about how hard it was in the real world. Dad ignored her. She eventually found a rich boyfriend and disappeared into another city to run her con again. I wished her luck. She'd need it. As for me, I stopped saying, "That's great," to everything. When the chef made seafood, I said, "I hate this." And Dad fired him. When Mom tried to buy me a dress that wasn't my style, I said, "No." And she bought me the one I wanted. When Ryan tried to be overprotective, I said, "Back off." And he did. I learned that in this house, you didn't have to be perfect to be loved. You just had to be real. And honestly, that was actually great.